It's a great day, hopscotchers, because I get to show you how to make my favorite type of game of all time, the escape game. Escape games are a big genre of loads of types of games where you have to interact with your environment and find objects and clues in order to solve puzzles and escape the room. They are often creatively named, such as Can You Escape? Or The Room. I'm going to show you how to make all the basic elements of an escape game. And from there, you can add your own creativity and your own ideas to make a personalized escape game to challenge your friends. Let's start from the beginning. You'll need a door and a key. So let's go ahead and add those. The door and the key are both under the symbols category. We have a door, and let's get ourselves a key over here. Great, I'm going to put the key over here and the door about there. And let's see, we'll want the door to be a lot bigger than the key. So let's tap on there and add a new rule when the play button is tapped. And then go into looks and sounds, and we'll set the size to, I don't know, 800%. Let's play and see if that's good enough. That's good enough for me. You can pick a different value if you want. Now what we want is for the door to animate opening when we swipe it. So let's give the door a new rule and say when the door is swiped right, opened. When the door is swiped right, let's see, I think it should flip, look like it's turning, and then probably move by about 200, and that's right and left movement, so that's change X by 200. Let's see if you swipe it right. There you go, the door opens. So now what we want to happen is for the door to only open if you already have gotten the key. And what do we use to keep track of if you've gotten the key or not? Values. So let's tap on the key and add a new rule. When the character is tapped, automatically fills in the key there, that's nice. When the key is tapped, we will set a value for which we have to make a new value. Let's call this has key. Set the value has key to 1. You've probably seen that a lot in these videos where we're setting values to 0 or 1 and back, and that's because of a convention of binary logic, where 0 equals false and 1 equals true. You can think of it like, how many keys do I have? 0? Well, then the sentence I have a key is false. But if I have 1 key, then the sentence I have a key is true. When you tap the key, it should disappear like you've picked it up. So let's set the invisibility to 100. And let's test that program. So now pick up the key and open the door. Great, but if you just try to open the door, we need to have some way of telling the door don't open if you haven't got the key yet. So let's go in and edit the doors rule. This rule we've already written when door is swiped right. And now we're going to check whether the has key value is what we want before we do it. So go into control flow and get check if else. We're going to check if up here if has key equals 1. And if it does, then we're going to do this door opening code down here. So put flip and change X up in the top part. And then else means if has key does not equal 1, equals anything else than 1, including 0, then we want the door not to open. And for now, let's just make it wiggle to show something's up. Okay? Let's try that. Now, when you start and you swipe the door, it just wiggles and it won't open. But if you get the key first and then swipe the door, now it opens. So that's the foundation of our escape game. Everything from here on out is working backwards. When you play an escape game, you're presented with problems and you try to find solutions to them. But when you're designing an escape game, you start with solutions and you have to add in more problems. So let's make this key harder to get. I think it should be behind a painting. So let's add a new emoji. And you can pick anything you want, but I've got a painting in here I really like of this unicorn. And we'll put that right on top of the key, so it's obscuring it. But we're going to want to make that bigger. So I'm going to add a new rule when the play button is tapped and set size to 400. Is that enough? I think that looks good. And now you see the painting is in front of the key, but that's only because of the order I added the emojis in. If I had added the painting and then the key would just by default be on top. So if that happens to you, all you have to do is go into the green menu and find Bring to Front. That will bring that character to the absolute front of all the other characters. Okay? Great. So now I can't get to the key. And the door won't open without the key. So I need some way to get the painting to move out of the way. And my idea is to make the painting go up when you swipe it. So let's add the new rule and get one of these swiped ones. There you go, is swiped up, and make sure that's when the painting is swiped up. It should move up, which is Y, so we'll change Y by about 200. And then we want it to go back down again, so change Y by negative 200, or whatever value you have chosen. There we go. Hey, it swipes up. Now when it swipes up, I have to click real fast and get the key. And then the door opens. This is cool, but it's kind of hard to know whether I got the key or not. So we're going to add one of the essential parts of an escape game, the inventory. I'm going to add a text label to this to say it's the inventory, but that's your choice whether you do it or not. It's just going to sit there. Then I want to color the inventory area in a different color so that the players know it's different from the screen. Whenever I draw stuff in a complicated project like this, I like to use the pencil emoji so that when there's loads of stuff on the screen when I'm editing, I can always tell what this one is for. And the first thing I'm going to do is make it invisible. So set invisibility 100%. Good. And now I want it to draw across the bottom of the screen. So I will set its position to the bottom corner, which is X0 and Y0. That's an easy one. And then let's draw. So leave a trail and a color of your choice, a width of about 150, and move forward. Now I always forget how wide the iPad screen is, so I like to use the value in here of iPad's width. Great. So now we have an inventory area drawn, and that's where we can put the stuff that's in our inventory, or the stuff that we have. Now, like most good problems, there are at least two possible solutions to this. The first one is to just set the position of the key to the inventory area when you get it. And the second one is to have a separate key emoji down there that hides or shows depending on whether has key equals 1 or 0. You probably know how to do the first, so I'm going to show you how to do the second. Let's add a new emoji there and get another copy of the key, which I've used recently, so there it is. And I'm going to put it down in the inventory area here. And all it needs is two rules. So one, you can go down here and find the equals, and you get when blank equals blank. We're going to do when has key equals 1, then we want it to be visible. So we'll set the invisibility to 0. And then we have to add another rule. When has key equals 0, then we want it to be invisible. So set invisibility 100%. Okay. Hey look, so it starts out invisible in the inventory because we don't have the key yet. When I swipe the painting up and get the key, there it is. Awesome. And then when I open the door with it, oh, it doesn't really disappear. Really, it should disappear because we've used it up. So let's go back and edit and change the door's swiping rule when the door is swiped right. The first part is where the door is opening. So when the door opens, it should take the key away. So set the value has key back to 0. Great. Now invisible, visible, invisible again. The only thing left to complete your first escape game is some way to let the player know when they've won. And while we're at it, we might as well tell the player what the point of the game is too. So I'm going to add new text and make that sort of the title of the game or the instructions. I'm going to write escape the room. Yay! And I'll put that at the top. And let's see. We want it to say you escaped when you escaped, but who's in charge of figuring out whether you've escaped or not? It's the door. So right back in the door rule, just where we did set value has key to 0, that's the end of the game. So we're also going to set a value ending to 1. Let's go down to the values menu and find set value. We're going to make a new value here, ending. And we'll set it to 1. The only thing left is to make this text change when the ending equals 1. So when ending equals 1, we will set the text, which is green, to you escaped. Done. Okay, here we go. Testing it out. Can I open the door? Can I open the door? No, I can't open the door. So I'll swipe it up and get the key. Now I have the key, I'll open the door, and I escaped. Hooray! Now you have all the tools you need to make your own escape game. Make values to keep track of what you've got and what state the game is in, and then use conditionals and events to change the game's behavior based on how those other things change. Now comes my favorite part, where I get to show you a walkthrough of my finished escape game. You are familiar with getting the key from behind the picture, but if you open the door right away, an alligator comes and eats you. So what you need to do is, instead of unlocking the door right away, turn on the lights. And that reveals a code here, 371 in the corner, which you can input into the briefcase by tapping the numbers, which opens to reveal a box. And if you pop the balloon, scissors fall out, and you can use the scissors to unwrap the box. Then you can open the door, and the alligator eats the hamburger instead of you. I hope you liked my escape game. I can't wait to play yours.